Lisa Brokop and Paul Jefferson had finally met, started seeing each other, and the attraction was growing. But relationships are tough when you both do the same job, especially when the job is music.
I went to Vancouver. You did a show in Vancouver. This was kind of the beginning of the end of that. I went to meet her family and be with her while she's doing a show. And it was tough. It was difficult to be around Lisa while she was getting ready to do a show. And I actually think that's one of the problems that people have in relationships in the entertainment business, because it's hard to understand what happens during those times. And someone pointed it out to me, and it was kind of like a light bulb went on. They said, what do I do when I get ready for a show? And I go into kind of a preparation where I kind of block everything out. I start to just focus on what I need to do, and people, I'm not so worried about trying to help other people out. It's just about me. And when Lisa does the same thing, like she's supposed to. And when she did that to me, I'm hanging around and she's got people around her, and I'm being blocked off. I'm no longer important to her. In my own little insecurities, it was a tough moment during that show.
And so we kind of had to break up and just kind of let it go and learn some things and do some work on ourselves and then come back. And we really didn't think it was going to come back, but we thought, well, we got to do what we got to do, but we did. We came back.
They had to start over, and they knew it was going to be slow. It had to be steady, and they needed ground rules.
So we had this meeting together to say goodbye to the old whatever that was. Whether we ever saw each other again, we still needed to say goodbye to the old thing.
Honorable goodbye.
Yeah, honorable goodbye. So it was like, okay, closure on that, and then we can either move on to our separate things, or maybe we might meet again. Not get back together, but meet again. So the rule was, okay, after this meeting, each person can call back if they want the next day to say they would like to meet again, or they cannot. And so it was really weird, you think about that. And so we both called the next day within about a half an hour of each other and decided we wanted to have another meeting.
There was constraints to it. I mean, like the time limit. I would pick her up at a certain time. We agreed on like 6 o'clock. And the agreement was if I got there at 6:05, there was no date. We'd have to wait till the next time.
It was really strict. I mean, you thought the first part was slow, the getting to know each other. Boy, this was even slower. We would go on dates and we would set time frames, like, okay, we're gonna see each other for 1 hour so that we don't mess it up. And it worked out, and before you know it, we were engaged and married, and here we are. Be my baby. I really want you to be mine, all mine. If you want to talk about forever.
Hard work and respect had brought them back together, and love pushed them to the altar.
With Paul's reputation of moving forward,
Slowly.
It's a bit slow. So I thought, I'm just going to dive right in here. And so I said, okay, so you think you'd like to marry me someday? Yeah. I said, okay, I'll go pick out a ring, and then whenever you're ready.
Maybe she did ask me to marry her, I don't know.
Well, I kind of made it sound like it's good to make the guy think that he's in control. But anyway, so I went and picked one out, and I picked out a different ring than I have. Pretty simple, just, diamond in the middle, whatever. 6-carat diamond. No, it wasn't. It was very simple, and then the lady from the store calls me a couple days later, a week later. She's a good saleswoman, and she said, "Oh, we just got this ring in. It's like an Art Deco, such and such a ring." And I thought, oh, it's gonna be it's going to be too gaudy or too much. I didn't want anything. But I went down there and I looked at it, and it was just the most beautiful thing. I thought, oh, that is awesome. But I didn't know. I thought, well, I don't know when he's going to ask me, so this is probably going to sell, you know. Of course, she said, well, it's going to sell in the next few days, da, 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 da. And I was like, well, do I put a down payment? And then when he comes in, and then I just decided, that's silly. You know, if I'm meant to have the ring, I'll have it. So I left. And he comes in like an hour later, like the same day, or I don't know, something like that. And he got the ring.
Now that they had the ring, it was up to Paul to pop the question.
I asked her right over there.
In the kitchen. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. I sleep late, so I had just woken up. I knew he had to go write that day, a writing appointment. And I said, aren't you supposed to be at your writing appointment? He's like, yeah, but first you'd come in and said, are you gonna get up soon? He came into the bedroom. Are you gonna get up? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get up. So and he's like, but first I have to do something. And he pulls open the kitchen drawer and pulls out a box. And I'm like, this can't be it. This is, no way. I was half asleep. And he gets down on one knee. I'm like, yeah. And the box has the name of the store on it. I'm like, yeah, I think this is it. And I didn't know if it was gonna be which ring. So he's like, yeah, I just have to ask you something first, if you'll marry me. And he hands me the box on his knees. It was so Paul, so simple.
Well, you know, it's like, I have friends who tell me about their romantic stories of how they asked their wife to marry them. And I can't compete with that. I couldn't believe some of the stories I heard. I tried to think of something that would be more clever, but so I just thought of the most like unclever thing to surprise her.
It was a surprise because I was like, this can't be it. I mean, I thought maybe we'll go on top of the mountain in the backyard, or maybe we'll go, you know, some romantic. But then that's not really Paul. He's, you know, very much meat and potatoes, kind of simple. Let's just get her done, kind of. So there it was, and then I sort of came to, like, because I was half asleep. I'm like, oh my God, and it's the ring I wanted. So I was very surprised, and he's like, okay, I gotta go right now, and he left. And I was like, oh, I gotta call everybody, and I'm calling everybody. And then we actually played the Bluebird Cafe that night, which was really cool. We were doing In the Round together, and so it was very romantic, and we sang songs, and it was cool.
It was a storybook wedding with family and friends.
We got engaged the September 07, right?
About
September
6 months.
14th.
Definitely.
And then got married in May of 08. We were gonna wait the full year and do it in September, like, which would have been just, you know, a couple months ago, but you kind of said, well, why don't we do it earlier? And I'm like, okay, sure. And we did it here in Nashville, actually just outside of town at a little restaurant called Miller's Cafe. Some friends of mine own it. And it's like a whistle-stop cafe, kind of down home. There's a train that comes through, and so we were hoping that the train wouldn't come through during the ceremony, because it came through at just random times. So it never did, but so we had people sitting. There's a street that went in front of the front porch of the restaurant. We had chairs set up there and had a horse and carriage and came riding around. It was just exactly what we wanted. Some good down-home cooking, meat and three, Southern style kind of. Meat and three is probably foreign to a lot of Canadians, but anyway, it's a meat and three vegetables. And a vegetable could be macaroni and cheese. So that's how they do it down here.
It was a beautiful wedding made special by a song from their friends.
What was lost has now been found. What was empty filled. Everything has changed somehow. Time is standing still.
It was a fun time. It was a good party.
But Lisa and Paul had their own special song.
At the wedding, we had What a Wonderful World play as our first dance, which we love that song, but it's not like it became a big thing, but I have one that I wrote that we jokingly call our song. It's called Shackin' Up, that I wrote with Fred when I moved in with Paul. The lyric is, you bring your 70s sofa, I'll bring my grandma's quilt to throw over. Put our CDs together, 2 of each Beatles record. My cat and your dog will have to get along. We're shacking up, packing up, moving out, moving in together. What could be better than?
Sofa and over. What a great rhyme that is.
Yeah. Well, if you sing it like
and over.
Sofa, you know.